Hello and welcome to Skills and Automation. My name is Ash and today we're going to look at one of my favorite topics in VBA, dictionaries. I have used VBA mostly in the context of finance and accounting in a corporate scenario. And if I can mention two things that have given me the edge, it will be dictionaries and dynamic arrays. So let's talk about one of those two things, dictionaries. We will look at what dictionaries are, how to set them up, and how to use them practically. We will cover 4 awesome use cases which will definitely take your programming skills to the next level. So stay tuned for that. But this is not a comprehensive tutorial. This means that I will skip over some aspects and generalize some terms. This is on purpose with the intention of getting you to start using dictionaries ASAP without getting caught up in the theory. All you need to know to understand this video is how to use a for loop. When I started learning about dictionaries, every post or video constantly referred to other VBA objects such as collections, classes, or arrays to explain what a dictionary is. This made it much more difficult and took that much longer for me to understand how to use a dictionary. I want to try and follow a simpler approach in this video. Hope it works. There are many awesome benefits to using a dictionary in Excel VBA, and we will cover it shortly in this video. But the concept of dictionary is used in many more programming languages such as Python. And if your goal is to eventually transition beyond VBA, then learning such concepts beforehand may be worth the effort. A dictionary is a VBA object that holds a list of data in pairs of two, a key and an item. In simple terms, an item is the value we want to store, and a key is the name or reference we want to assign it. And a VBA dictionary can store multiple such key item pairs. This is similar to a real-life dictionary, which is basically a list of words as keys and their meanings as items. Now, I'll admit that the term item seems a bit confusing, at least to me. I just wish we could call it value and reference this set as a key value pair, which makes so much more sense. In fact, that's what it's called in Python. But for VBA, we are stuck with item, so just memorize that. The main features of a dictionary are, in a real-life dictionary, you will not find the same word repeating twice. Same way, the same key doesn't repeat twice in a VBA dictionary. We don't need to define the size of a dictionary before we start using it. We can just add key item pairs to it as we go in the runtime. This is unlike other VBA objects and makes dictionaries extremely flexible to use. Imagine a dictionary with 1000 keys and corresponding 1000 items. And let's say the keys are names of cricket players and the items are their individual test high scores. And suppose we want to grab the high score for one particular player. We don't need to loop over the entire dictionary from top to bottom, find the player name and then grab their score. We can directly reference the player name, that is the dictionary key, and grab their score, which is the dictionary item. All these three features are unbelievably powerful and can speed up your code by many folds. Next, let's look at how to use a dictionary. As mentioned earlier, we're just going to focus on the parts that we need to get the job done. With that in mind, in this section, we will learn how to create a dictionary, populate it with data, retrieve a value, check whether a key exists, and finally write back the contents of a dictionary onto the worksheet. Let's come to our VB editor, create a sub. Now, a dictionary is a VBA object that is available through the Microsoft Scripting Runtime Library. This means we can create the dictionary object in two ways, early binding and late binding. In this video, we will only cover late binding technique, which is the one I use anyways. There are two steps to creating a dictionary using late binding. First, declare a variable as an object. Let's assign the dictionary to this variable. We will need to assign the object as we created. So use the word set to assign an object. We will use the create object function and add in a reference to the scripting dictionary. Next, let's fill our dictionary with some values. To add data to a dictionary, we will use the add method. Now, we need to add the key and the item. We will eventually be looking at a data set with cricket test scores by players. So let's use that example. We will add the player name as key and total test runs code as item. So the first player name as key and the total run scored by them as the item. Let's add in two more key item pairs. Some points to note here. The key can be any data type such as a number or text, and the item can be any data type as well, but it can also be an array, a class object, or even another dictionary. For this video though, we will just stick to regular data types. Next, let's look at how to retrieve a particular value or item. Let's say we want to print out the total run scored by Ponting. We will call the dictionary object and feed in the key as a parameter. So debug.print to display the results in our immediate window. And we'll grab the player name, which is the key, and this should give us 13378. Let's run this to check what we get. And we do get the total run scored by our player. Next, let's look at how to check if a player is within our dictionary or not. If they are not, we will add them to our dictionary. For this, we will use the exists method of the dictionary object. Let's try and add an existing player. So let's say if the player Tendulkar exists, then we'll display a message saying that the player already exists. And if this player doesn't exist, we can add that player in. Okay, let's run this. And we get a message saying that the player already exists. Okay. One point to note here is that the default .exists method is case sensitive. We can program it to ignore the case sensitivity by setting the compare mode to text compare, which ignores cases. Okay, let's comment this out. Let's turn the T in Tendulkar to a small case, put in a breakpoint out here, and let's run this up. So the dictionary doesn't recognize this as a valid key. This is what we were expecting. Stop. Let's uncomment the compare mode and run this up again. This time we get player exists. Moving on, let's add in a new player using the same logic. Okay, this time let's add in Sangakkara. And if the player doesn't exist, we will add in the key and the item. And just to be sure that this got added correctly, we'll print out the run scored by Sangakkara from the dictionary. Okay, let's run this and we get a run scored, which means that the player was successfully added to the dictionary. And finally, let's print out the contents of the dictionary onto a worksheet. For this, we need to understand two things. First, the index of a dictionary starts from 0. That is, if we want to refer to the first key item pair in the dictionary, it will have the position 0. So let's print out the first key item pair. The index number will be 0. And 0 again for the item. Okay, let's print this out. And the first entry in the dictionary is Tendulkar and the run scored by him. Great. And the second thing to remember is that in order to retrieve all the data from the dictionary, we need to loop over it. The loop will start from the first index, which is 0, to the last index, which is the count of all the key item pairs in the dictionary minus 1. Let's make some space here. Let's create a loop. So our loop will go from 0, which is the first index number, to the count of all the key item pairs in the dictionary, which is just tick.count, and go minus 1. And we can just copy this and print out each key and item pair, changing this to I. Okay, let's run this. And we get a list of all the key item pairs in the dictionary. And that's pretty much all we need to know to start using dictionaries in our examples. Let's look at a data set for this section. It is a data set of most cumulative cricket test match runs scored by any player. So we have the top 50 players right here. Currently, we are only interested in the highlighted columns, which is player name, country, and runs. I've left in some other columns, which were already in the data set from ESPN Cricinfo, but I've left these in there just to add some complexity. We will go over 4 examples, such as finding unique values. If we are retrieving any results, we will paste it into our output sheet. And there is a country sheet, which is a map of players to the country they're from, which we will look at in the final lookup example. Let's go to the VB editor. Let's go through our basic code so that we don't need to talk about it when we're looking at our actual examples. Let's create a sub, declare and assign some worksheet object variables, Clear any contents from the second row onwards in the first 3 columns of the output sheet. Next, let's grab the last row of the data worksheet, which is this worksheet right here. So dim a variable for it, and the last row will be the count of the rows in the current region. Let's create an iteration variable for the loop. Create a few variables to read the player name, total runs, and country. Now let's create the loop, which will go from the second row to the last row. Let's read the values from the data and assign them to our 3 variables. Player name is in column A, the run scored by them is in column G, and the country is in column L. This loop is not really going to do anything now, but we don't need it now either. And finally, let's autofit the output columns. Okay, and that's the basic setup. Let's look at our first example. Here, we can see the country names are repeating in the last column. Let's grab a unique list of countries within this column. Go back to VBA editor, and we'll just copy this initial setup macro. Paste it here, change the name. We don't need the runs in the player name. Can delete this off. Let's create a dictionary, and let's come to our loop. We can delete this off too. So in the loop, once you have read the country name from the column, let's feed this into our dictionary. The country is the key which needs to be unique. So let's put in an if statement to only add the country to the dictionary if it doesn't exist already. So if not the country name exists, then let's add the country, which is the key. And we don't need the item in this case, so we'll just leave it as 0. Okay, that's it for our loop. Now, once the loop is run, the dictionary will get populated with unique country names. Let's paste the results into our output sheet. So let's create the loop for printing out the dictionary keys. Add in some space here. So this is our loop for pasting the values from the dictionary. And we just want to paste in the keys in column A in the output sheet in the second row onwards, which is I plus 2, because I starts from 0. So in column A, and the row is I plus 2. And what are we pasting in? We're pasting in just the key. Great, and that's done. Save the sub, and let's give it a run. Finish running, come to the output sheet, and we can see a unique list of country names from a data worksheet. Great. Moving on to our next example. This example is similar to the previous one. We can create another layer on top of that. Let's look at a data set. Previously, we grabbed the unique values in a column, which is the country name. While we are looping through the data set, we can even count the number of occurrences of these unique values or calculate the sum of another column for each unique value. Say we want to find the total runs scored per country. I know this doesn't make much sense from the perspective of cricket, but let's just go with it because the data set suits our needs. And we can perform other operations as well, such as average, max, min, etc. But for this video, we will just stick to count and sum. So back to our VB editor. We will use the same sub as last time. Change the name. Okay, let's look at count first. We'll come down to our if statement and we'll change it from a simple if to an if else statement. So delete this off. The first part will be if the country name exists, and then we'll add an else condition. Okay, let's address the else part first. This is where the country name doesn't exist. If it doesn't, we'll add the country name to the dictionary. So in the last example, our item was 0, which is just an arbitrary value because we weren't using it. This time though, we will use it to count each occurrence of the unique key or the country. So the first time we encounter a country name, we'll assign it a count of 1. And this brings us to the upper condition, where the country name already exists in the dictionary. In this case, we do not want to add the country to the dictionary. We couldn't even if we wanted to. So what we'll do here is increase the existing count by 1. So the existing count is the dictionary referenced by the key, and we'll just add 1 to it. And that's it. Let's output these values. Previously, we just pasted the keys or the country name. This time, let's paste the count, which is the item, into the adjacent cell. And that's it. Save and run. Come to the output worksheet, and we can see a list of unique countries and the number of times each country has occurred in our data set. And the sum of this is 50, which is the total number of players in our data set. Next, let's sum the total runs, which is in column F. Come back to VB editor. Let's add in a variable to hold the runs. Come to our loop. We'll grab the runs from column F. Comment out these statements. First, let's look at the else statement. So for the else, if the country doesn't exist, we will add the country as key, and this time we'll add the runs as the item. And for the main if condition, if the country already exists, then we'll simply add the runs from the current cell to the previous value of runs stored for that country in the dictionary. So the previous value of runs plus the current value of runs. And that's it. Everything else remains the same. Let's save and run. Come back to our output sheet, and the total runs have been summed up. You will notice that the results are not sorted in any order. Sorting within a dictionary is possible but difficult. And I would argue that at most times it's not even necessary. For this case, you could just simply output the results and sort it within the sheet using autofilter. Okay, moving on to the next example. So far, we've been using the exists method as a footnote. In this example, it will be the main feature. Here, we will look at how to dynamically copy data from one worksheet to another. Let's look at a data set. We want to copy the columns country, runs, and player into the output sheet. And you will notice that the columns are not in sequence. There is also a column in the output sheet that is not in the data sheet. So we don't want to copy anything into this column. Copying this way using the traditional method of defining ranges using current region is almost impossible. And the other way would be to hardcode the column names. So here's where dictionary shines, and this is a must-know technique. Let's head on to the VB editor, create a sub, add in our worksheet variables. This time we're after the last row and the last column of the data sheet. And both can be found by counting the rows and the columns in the current region. The last column is necessary to loop laterally across the column headers. Speaking of which, let's declare a variable to hold the column header. And let's create a dictionary. Let's loop across the column headers from left to right in the data sheet. So the rightmost column is a variable right here. And as we loop, let's grab the column header name and feed it into our dictionary. For the item, we will feed in the current column position, which we'll need later on for copying and pasting. So the key is the header name, and item is the current column. Next, let's grab the last column of the output sheet. Now, this time we will loop from left to right across the column headers of the output sheet. And first check whether each column header exists in the dictionary consisting of column headers from the data sheet. So the loop will be for I equals to the first column to the last column, which is this one right here. Grab the header name, and let's check if this header exists in our initial dictionary. And if the column header or key exists, we will copy the data from that column using the column position, which is stored as the item or value of the key in that dictionary. So we'll use the range object to copy. And we'll define the range using cells. So we need to state the first cell, which is in the second row, and the column number from the item. So to grab the item, we'll refer to the dictionary using the key. And the final cell, which is in the last row, and the same column number from the item. And let's use the copy method. Take this to another line. And we need to provide the first cell we want to paste it into, which is in the cell in the second row in the current column. Whew, I know what you're thinking. This escalated real fast. But trust me, if you want to build dynamic reports where you want to copy paste data without hard coding column numbers, then this technique is worth the effort. Okay, let's give this a test run. Save, run, go to our output sheet. Awesome. The data has been pasted into the right columns, and we have no data in the column that we didn't want anything to get pasted into. This is probably the toughest example out of the 4 to wrap our heads around, but let's keep pushing forward and look at the next and final example. Let's move on to the last use case, which also happens to be my favorite use for a dictionary, that is looking up values. So this time around, we're going to tweak the data set a bit. Instead of having this country name column within the main data set, we will delete off the contents and then come to our country worksheet. Here we have a map of each player and the respective country that they belong to. If we had this scenario in one of our corporate reports, we would just VLOOK up the value of the player from the main data set against this table and grab the country. We can do this through dictionaries as well. Let's head on to the VB editor, create a sub, same worksheet variables, add in a new worksheet variable for the country worksheet. Let's grab the last row in the country sheet and the main runs by worksheet as well. Declare variables to hold the country and player name. Let's create a dictionary. This time around, we are going to loop over the country worksheet and feed in the values into the dictionary with player as key and country as item. So create the dictionary, create the loop, adding in some space. So we'll grab the player name from column A and the country from column B. We are doing this in VLOOKUP style, where the column with the matching value is in the first column and the corresponding value is in the column on the right. But in reality, the corresponding value could be on the left or right, it doesn't matter. Dictionary is very flexible and can handle this scenario. Back to the loop. If the player doesn't exist in the dictionary, feed in the player as key and country as item. So if the player doesn't exist, add in the player and the country. Now let's go to the main data set, and for each player in column A, we will check whether a key exists in this dictionary with the same player name. If it does, we will grab the item or a country name and place it in the last column L. And if it doesn't, we'll fill in the text unknown in column L. So let's create the loop, grab the player name from column A, add the if statement to check if the player exists. If they do exist, then we'll add the item or the country into the column L. And if they don't, we'll add in the text value unknown. Great, that's it. Let's run it and see if it works. Save and give it a test run. Come to our main worksheet and we can see the country name populated for each player. And these are all the main use cases for dictionaries. Next, let's look at when to use dictionaries. Now that we're acquainted with dictionaries and all the awesome ways we can use them, let's look at when and why to use them. For each example that we have covered, there are other techniques that can be used to perform the same operation. In the examples for dynamic copying and lookups, we can use range.find instead. And for unique values, we could use advanced filter. In fact, in most cases, they're even faster than using a dictionary. But dictionary is a one-stop shop and is more flexible, at least in my opinion. One edge over the alternatives is that we can populate our dictionary at the start of the sub and use it much later down the track. And in fact, we can keep reusing the same dictionary in the sub over and over again. We can't do this with the alternatives, such as find and advanced filter. These can only be used during runtime. One limitation of dictionary is that you will realize that we are restricted to only two values, a key and an item. This limits our operation somewhat, but we can store anything as an item, even a class object, and a class object can have multiple variables, effectively allowing us to have multiple items per key. But we'll leave this for a later video. We haven't also covered arrays in this video. In all our examples, we just pasted the output directly onto the worksheet. But we can also paste the results into an array, which can make an entire operation super fast. In fact, the dynamic array and dictionary combo is the deadliest of the lot. You can do almost anything with it, and it saves you the trouble of learning unnecessary alternatives. Hope this video is interesting and has inspired you to start using dictionaries. This is a topic I'm very passionate about, so you can expect more videos on this topic in the future. And if this video has added some value to you, please do like and subscribe. Thanks, and see you in the next one.